Wuthering Heights has been rife with controversy and negativity pretty much since the trailers. Before that, maybe the casting announcements, the director announcement. It seems like people online haven't put their faith in this film, and I thought that the negativity would be overblown because it's preceding the actual film itself. We haven't seen it. We don't know anything. I'm speaking as somebody who hasn't read the book here. I didn't really know what to expect. I wasn't coming into it with any of those preconceived notions about whether it was going to be good or bad, but obviously I was aware there would be controversy. And I just think it wasn't great. Like, coming at it from a completely unbiased perspective, I don't really see what there is that is appealing about this film.
Yes, I'm also coming from
Yeah.
hasn't read the book. I was just going in blind and see, okay, maybe negativity, as you said, was overblown. Maybe something will come out of it. Like the trailers, they had some pretty good cinematography. But I think we have to address some of the weird things that they were advertising. Because they were advertising as this deeply romantical film. Like, oh my God, Mr. Darcy, like this gothic romantic that everybody's going for. Well, it was pretty awkward for me because I was I was the only single guy in the cinema watching this. But it's not that. It's not
No,
like a
no.
romantic film. It was unexpected, but not so great dull film.
This is the Out of Time Film Podcast, where your hosts Tom and John discuss everything from blockbuster films to TV and games like there's no tomorrow.
Dull, I agree. I thought it was just absolutely dry as all hell. There were moments where
Drier
I
than the
kind of
Sahara Desert, by the way.
exactly. I was dry as hell the whole time, and that needs to change. No,
That needs to change.
the whole time it's definitely trying to be lustful and sexy and romantic, but I really don't think it reached that. I saw this with my girlfriend, and she felt the same. There were a couple of moments that got a little bit steamy, but when the advertising is so massively about that, it's like, oh yeah, you're gonna go and you're gonna be aroused the whole time. At least that's what I felt that the trailers were saying.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't get that. And as we came out of the cinema, I heard somebody say something that I think is just, it's a brilliant representation of how this film feels. Because
Okay.
this, safe to say, up top, this film isn't made for us. Emerald Fennell, the director, has said very openly about who this film is made for. And it ain't us, honey. But there were a bunch of college age, maybe university age, young girls who saw this film, and one of whom came out of the cinema, and I heard her just say, "Life is miserable. Why would I want to go and watch more fucking misery?" And I think to myself, yeah, yeah, that's kind of
Yeah, that's
kind of it,
that's
isn't it?
that.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just depression. The movie in the 1700s. What could be good in the 1700s? Like rats. Rats. I
Nothing.
mean rats.
You can be a 17th century child and do the timeless childhood game of getting a rat in a bucket and trying to kill the rat with a bunch of sticks.
Yes.
One of my
Yeah.
favorites.
Wow. It's a very dull film. There was just nothing interesting that happened throughout the 2 hours. It's a 2 hour movie, but it did not feel like 2 hours. It just felt like it was dragging on.
I thought it was nearing 3 hours. I can't lie.
Right? I was like,
Yeah.
what did they put in this? Like a stretch to make the movie go longer or something? Like, we gotta put more reels in
Yeah,
there.
they had the completed edit in the timeline and they saw it came to 1 hour 45 and they were like, oh, that's a bit short. What if we just put it on point 0.8 speed? Every scene's a little bit slower than it needed to be.
And then you get to see Jacob Elordi talking really slow, like, what does he say in the film? I forgot what he says in
Cathay,
the
Cathay.
Cathay. Wait, is he Liverpudlian or
Oh,
Yorkshire?
no. You know where this film is set? In Bradford. That's the incredible thing that, like, it doesn't,
Oh,
you wouldn't
right.
know. I think there's one scene where you actually go to, presumably Bradford, the town, and obviously it's all set in Wuthering Heights. It's set on cliff tops and mountainsides and rolling hills. But just the fact that this film is the most lustful place in the UK, Bradford.
Bradford. Gotta go to
Yeah,
Bradford, yeah.
sure, guys,
Sure,
sure.
sure.
I think that this film is boring, but at the same time, there's not an ounce of subtlety in it. And I think,
Right. There was no nuance. It just felt
no.
like here's something in your face, here's something in your face.
Yeah, it's
Look
like,
at this, look at this.
yeah, I'm pretty confident that Emily Bronte's book isn't lacking nuance. I'm sure it's got loads to say. And I think that the good thing about adaptation is that, of course, We can have different adaptations that do different things. But as it works on its own, I've got nothing to compare it to here. I would be willing to bet that in 2026, most of the audience won't be reading the book. And so there's not really much to chew on. There's literally a whole montage where our main character, Kathy, is sad. And so we see shots of her being sad. And there's a song. Maybe it's a Charlie XCX song because she made music for the film.
Oh yeah,
But
she
the
was also
song,
heavily promoted in this as well. It was
yes,
like,
right?
is this
It's like,
movie
yeah,
gonna be even sexier with Charlie XCX? And she's gonna do
original
drugs or
music.
something?
Okay. During this whole montage, Kathy is sad, and the song is basically, I'm very sad and I'm feeling sad.
I have
And-
depression. I'm
yeah.
very sad.
Exactly. And our other lead, Heathcliff, upon his return, there's a lot of steamy kind of like, oh, I'm feeling very drawn to him right now. And we get a montage of Kathy and Heathcliff being drawn to each other. And the music is like, he is gone and now he's back and I'm horny. I was just like, who made this? What's going on?
Why did you include this? The music is just like, now I'm walking back home and being sad even more. I don't know who I am anymore. There you go.
That rhymed. It rhymed. Lyrics.
I was just freestyling.
Wow.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Oh, incredible.
And also,
yeah,
I want to talk about the cinematography because it does look great.
it does.
But it does not reflect the themes. It's just like a little bit of red, a little bit of blue, a dash of color theory. Yes, color theory. We do
yes,
color. Yeah, wow.
of course.
And it does look amazing, but it does not take the film seriously. It just creates this zany type of world. What I've heard is that the book is more of a gothic horror story. Not horror, but it's a more horror on the life of being a woman. It does talk about gender, it talks about abuse, it talks about all the darker themes, but it's just a cinematography that just takes you out. Is it pathetic fallacy? Is it unrequited love? It's just confusing. It's just like, what's going on?
It's interesting that you bring up pathetic fallacy because I listened to an interview with Emerald Fennell where she talked about wanting this whole film to just be pathetic fallacy. And I don't
Right.
think it is. Rarely do I feel the mood is captured in the weather.
Yes.
We get a lot of snow when Kathy is sad. That's not pathetic fallacy because snow is the
No.
greatest thing ever.
You're gonna make snowman, you're gonna make snow
Yeah.
angels, hot chocolate as well. Did they have that in the 1700s? Hot chocolate?
They better. Yeah.
Oh, they have
That's
rat
that's
hot chocolate, guys.
Rat hot chocolate made by Rizzo the Rat. Taking a moment, if you haven't watched the Muppet special on Disney Plus, what are you even doing here or anywhere? Go and watch the Muppet Show. It's incredible. And if you're not convinced, Rizzo the Rat does a rendition of The Weeknd's Blinded by the Lights.
Wow. I haven't watched it yet, but I heard about that cover.
Why are you here?
Well,
Why are you recording? Go.
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 Oh shit. Oh shit. Just,
Right,
sorry, Muppets. Yeah, I'm
yeah,
sorry.
so what-
That was
Snow. We get a lot of snow
Snow.
when Kathy feels trapped. And I don't know if snow is the right vibe for that.
No.
We do get a lot of thunderstorms. I think the film's whole mise en scène, to use a proper film student term, the way that it looks, the way that it's made, it's all very good. It's very impressive. I don't know what the budget was, but well spent. Is it misguided? Yes, but it looks good. You can't fault that. And I think that when talking about this, you now get into the issue of adaptations. Now, the main controversy from this film comes from the fact that people think, oh, it's not in the book. It's changing so many things. People are getting that just from the casting, just from the trailers. And this idea of it's becoming anachronistic. The dresses and set design, they don't feel very 1700s. And to that, I say, doesn't matter. You don't need adaptation to stick to the source material. If you want a historically accurate Wuthering Heights, we've got plenty. I applaud Emerald Fennell for wanting to do something different. If you want something historically accurate, literally at the cinema right now, go watch Hamnet. That is so much closer. I'm not going to say it's entirely historically accurate, but it's so much closer to the tone and the vibe and the aesthetics of that period. But the thing about Wuthering Heights is that it doesn't really commit to the bit. It's like what you're saying. If you want it to be surreal, let's go into the surrealism. If you're going to have songs by Charlie XCX, lean into having modern songs. I think about Marie Antoinette, Sofia Coppola, one of the great period pieces in my mind. That was hugely controversial because, yeah, it was using contemporary songs and all this stuff. But who cares? The film is amazing. It doesn't worry about the fact that these songs feel out of place. I don't think any of that matters, but I do think the issue isn't that it's not being accurate to the book. It's just that Wuthering Heights just doesn't really commit to anything. It's like, oh, we've got this wall that's made out of skin. The least arousing thing I've ever seen with a giant freckle on like the wall. It's like, ugh. Awful. Lean into it then. Make it weird and horror-y. It's the idea that you would have and then not really think about.
Yeah, I don't know. Why did they thought about the skin thing? one of the characters, Linton, he was like, "Yes, I love your skin" or something. I don't know what he said.
The most beautiful color in the world is the color of my wife's skin.
Right. Okay.
Yeah,
Sure,
sure.
sure, buddy.
I'm a big fan of green myself. So anyone with green skin, hit me up.
Zip, 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 like an alien just comes down and just like zip,
Yeah.
zip, 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 zip. What really confused me was Margot Robbie and Jacob Elordi.
Ah, yes.
I don't think they matched the vibe for this film. There was no actual chemistry. Sure, there was a bit of a pull, but there was no proper chemistry to why they love each other. It just feels like they were just placed there and like, sure, do Wuthering Heights. Let's do Wuthering Heights and see how it
Yeah.
goes. I just don't know what the direction was. And I don't think Margot Robbie, I don't believe that she's an English woman in the 1700s. There was no believability from the actors themselves. And then the other thing, the massive controversy about Jacob Elordi, that he's a white guy in the movie, and in the book, Heathcliff is a racially ambiguous man. The book describes him as a darker skin. He's from a different place. They don't talk about where he's from, but it's more about how people perceive him. So I wonder why Emerald Fennell did that.
It feels just not thought out, unfortunately. It's 2026. There are so many people you can cast and make it right. I don't think that everything has to be accurate to the book, but when you've got so many adaptations of Wuthering Heights that are just two white people, what's the point of just doing that again? I've heard Emerald Fennell saying, who else would you cast? It has to be these two. I'm sorry, but I've seen the film and I don't agree. I don't think it does need to be these two. They are very boring to watch. I agree with you. I don't feel that. And we start off with a flashback where we see Kathy, Heathcliff, and Nellie. They're all the same age. They're all children. Now, in the
Yeah.
book, I believe that 8 years passes. So,
Yeah,
however
yeah.
old they're supposed to be. But we're not told how long passes in the film. But what I do know is that Heathcliff transforms into 28-year-old Jacob Elordi. Kathy transforms into 35-year-old Margot Robbie. And Nellie transforms into 46-year-old Hong Chau. All three of these people were the same age. Unless I'm wrong, and Nellie was actually 18 years older than Heathcliff in that opening bit. I was thrown off massively. Age gaps happen all the time in Hollywood. I mean, maybe it was worth it, but it wasn't worth it. It wasn't like, oh, I can't see anyone else as Kathy and Heathcliff. If anything, I thought the strongest performer in the film was Hong Chau as Nellie. I thought her character was very interesting. I really enjoyed seeing her as this downtrodden servant who has to just deal with Kathy's whining all day long. Like Boy Who Cried Wolf, right? Kathy will cry about everything, and then when something actually happens, Nellie doesn't believe her, because why would she? Nellie has stuck by Kathy and always done the right thing for her, but is treated awfully, consistently. I really liked her as a character. She was great. Same with Martin Clunes as the dad. He was great. He becomes like a Dickensian villain at the end. He's got like massive
Yeah.
teeth and he's like, oh, you've come back to your old father.
You got back from spoons, haven't you?
He's like, you're going to throw your money on the floor and I'm going to grovel to take it up. And then I'm going to die because I've drank too much.
He had too many bottles in that room. I was like,
Oh my
that's
God.
one night.
Again, where's the subtlety? He's dead and there's two giant piles of bottles next to him. I wonder how he died. It's like,
I wonder how,
wow.
guys. I wonder how.
The core of this film needs to be Heathcliff and Kathy. It needs to be Jacob Elordi and Margot Robbie, and I'm sorry, but they're just miscast.
Yeah.
And I like both of them as actors, but I don't think it's worth it. Emerald Fennell said that she read this book at the age of 14 and it made her feel things she's never felt before. And I think that, yeah, I can see this story being very transformative. And she said that she wanted this film to be made for that same demographic, for young girls. And I think that this film will probably play very well for like teenagers, people in their early 20s. But at the same time, I don't think it has a wider reach. I think Emerald Fennell makes gateway drug films in the sense that none of her films really say anything unique or new.
Yeah.
But if you watch them at the right time, you will get something out of it. Not every film has to be adding to the conversation. Barbie doesn't need to be a subversive feminist masterpiece. It can be your first exposure to feminism. I think Promising Young Woman is kind of that. I think Saltburn is the introduction to an Eat the Rich story. Wuthering Heights may be kind of an introduction to certain kinds of romance. But beyond that, if you're not going to it as an introduction, I don't know, it's like, this didn't need to be Wuthering Heights. Emerald Fennell could have made her own story about love and romance and lust and had it be however surrealist you want it to be. She could have cast Margot Robbie and Jacob Elordi, and she could have said, oh, yes, it's kind of inspired by Wuthering Heights, but it's not Wuthering Heights. I mean, the title's in quotation marks. I thought this film was going to be a different kind of Wuthering Heights. I thought it was going to be really subversive and different, and it isn't at all. You look at all this and you just kind of think, what's the point?
Yeah, it's just absolutely pointless to directly say this is Wuthering Heights, and it just feels forced into like, yeah, this is the Wuthering Heights that I know. I just don't think there was a message to play. It's about communication. Is it about unrequited love? And into spoilers,
Yes.
Heathcliff decides to marry Isabella because Heathcliff wanted to be with Kathy, but Kathy was like, "Yeah, no, it's a bit confusing because the story's like, yeah, no, I don't want to be with you." Because did Heathcliff say he wanted to kill Linton or something?
Yeah, he did. He did. He was like, I'll kill him for you. And she's like, oh, we've gone too far.
Oh, we've
And
gone too
it's,
far. No,
yeah,
sorry,
guilt,
that's
I'm
boundaries.
pregnant, all that
Yep.
stuff. I've got
Yeah.
sepsis.
Yeah.
Which apparently, based off what I've gained online, apparently she gets sepsis because she's so heartbroken. Apparently that's what the book said. And I'm just like, again, I'm sure there's more nuance than what I've read online, but that's some Padme Amidala shit. That is literally just, I have lost the will to live.
I lost
I
the will
mean,
to live. Yeah. And then leading on to that, the tonal shift. This is strange because the tonal shift that you have, where Isabella, I've heard that she is a much more of a tragic character and there's a lot of trauma surrounding her in the book. In the film, Heathcliff decides to treat her as a dog, and then in the next scene, next few scenes later, Kathy dies, and it's just like, wow,
yeah.
we went from there to there, and Charlie Act 6 going, I have died, I have
Yeah.
died, I have died.
Yeah. I will never be happy again because I'm dead. It's
Dead.
genuinely, yeah, that whole scene with Isabella, because Heathcliff marries her to taunt Kathy.
Yes, yes.
And Kathy obviously is heartbroken and then she gets sepsis. That whole, it takes such a turn. That's where the misery comes in. That whole thing with Isabella being like a dog and Heathcliff being like, I won't love you and I will use you and you mean nothing to me. That's so very disturbing the way that it's presented. And you're like, okay, so we marketed this as something very romantic, and now we're here with sepsis and coercion and abuse. Ah, brilliant. Fantastic. I mean, I don't mind because that's what the story is, but marketing, again, crazy. I think it's really mental how Heathcliff leaves for 5 years and he comes back and he's like, hey,
I'm rich.
yeah. And Kathy's like, whoa, he's rich now and he's still hot. What happened? Doesn't matter, I guess. Fine. Okay. Maybe the book says, but he's back and it's 5 years later and they're still lusting for each other, even though they are 5 years older and surely. So it's a little bit like, okay. And then we hear the most frustrating thing ever. Now, if this is in the book, fine. Emily Bronte probably invented this trope. But as it stands here, I've seen this so many times and I'm getting sick of
Okay,
it.
yes.
Heathcliff is like, I left because I heard half a conversation and didn't ask anyone about it. I just left. For God's sake. He's like, I heard at the door you saying, I hate Heathcliff. And so I left. But actually, the full conversation is she's like, I hate Heathcliff, but I also love him. Oh my, I just thought it was so contrived.
It's
Oh,
tiresome, guys. Guys, this is tiring. You don't
genuinely.
need to have someone peeping by the door, hearing a whole conversation or half the conversation and misinterpreting everything. Heathcliff is like, no, I must go away now, and I must get rich somehow. I must get into
How?
money
How do you
laundering.
get rich, bro? Like, how do you do that? He did a get rich quick scheme and he was like, hey, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna
I'm gonna
invest.
sell rats, guys. I'm gonna sell rats in the
Yes.
1700s. I'm gonna do that.
I think at
Yeah.
the end of the day that this film has its redeeming qualities, but they are few and far between. I just found so little. It does make me think, yeah, I don't really care to read
To Wuthering,
or
to
or
Wuthering
to
Heights, to
I don't care to wither. I don't care. Yeah. Yeah. It didn't do anything for me. That's a shame because I was on this film's side. When all the controversy was happening, I was saying, I hope that it's better than people are saying it's going to be.
yeah, it's hard. It's hard when you want to see a film that you kind of like, hey, this might work, but then it just dies.
What are you going to give Wuthering Heights out of 10?
I'm gonna give it a 4. I'm gonna give it a 4.
I'm also going to give it a 4. What a shame. Thank you everybody for listening. If you're listening on YouTube and you liked it, you can like and subscribe if you want to see more. And if you're listening on Spotify or Apple, you can follow and give us a 5-star review if you think worthy. And next week, we're going to talk about another adaptation, an adaptation from anime to live action. We're talking about the live action One Piece.
Yes, the long-awaited discussion, Tom. This is what I've been waiting for. Oh
You
my
had to
God.
suffer through Wuthering Heights, and now you get the release of talking about
Yes.
anime.
Everyone, please tune in.
Yeah, and send us an email at outoftimefilmpod@gmail.com. Let us know your thoughts on One Piece. We'll answer it on the podcast next week.
Yes, and you can follow us on Instagram at OutOfTimeFilmPod to see our incredible thumbnails from Zain, on Twitter for more thoughts from Tom and me, and TikTok to see edited clips, which are all also on Instagram Reels and YouTube Shorts. And you can find them listed all in the description below. Thanks to El for the excellent theme and Ronan for vocals as always. And I think that's everything. Take what you're given.
Give nothing back.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.